Peace to everybody, back with another video. This is Minnesota Freedom Fund faces scrutiny for Antifa and Soros ties. And of course, as you know, here's George Soros himself, who has ties with the Antifa because he's funding them for the riots, the looting, everything you could think of that he's doing. Now, you could have fun going through his website and look through everything if you want. I don't care. But this is the man who caused all the chaos, the burning, and everything else. So he is responsible for this. As major cities begin picking up the pieces after days of destruction, the rioters and looters can rest easy knowing that they have a get out of jail free card waiting for them. Bailouts charities are suddenly flush with cash, especially the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which has received an unprecedented level of donations from Hollywood stars including Justin Timberlake, Steve Carell, and Seth Rogen. Yes, so the city is picking up the pieces after all the looting, the rioting. Businesses are burned down. There's nothing left except for the laundromat, the police department. They have majority leaders of dismantling the police station, the police force, or whatever. But you got to be careful. There are rituals these people are doing. Think about it, rituals. And of course, you know, the bailout charities are suddenly flush with cash, especially the Minnesota Freedom Fund. And of course, you got the Hollywood elites that are also helping these people as well. So they're also involved with George Soros too. You got Justin Timberlake. I love his music, but I don't understand why he has to be in the middle of it. Steve Carell and Seth Rogen. So they're all in it. The revolution will be celebrated thanks to aggressive Hollywood crowdsourcing. So yeah, the revolution will be celebrated thanks to all the Hollywood crowdsourcing. The MFF's stated objective is simple. It raises donations that it uses to bail out suspected criminals from jail and immigration and customs enforcement detention. The one's obscure group used to pull in a mere $110,000 a year in donations, according to public tax records. But since the death of George Floyd while in Minneapolis police custody, it has ranked in more than $20 million in less than a week. Alright, so the Minnesota Freedom Fund, that's what the MFF stands for. Objective, it raises donations that is used to bail out suspected criminals. So in other words, the people that are fake, that are non-protesters, those are the Antifas, thank you. The celebrities are bailing them out. Alright, they're bailing them out. So that's why they got a special phone number to call the Hollywood elites to come and bail them out for them. Also, it's immigration and customs enforcement, of course, ICE detention. But since the death of George Floyd while in Minneapolis police custody, has ranked up to more than $20 million in less than a week. So there has been multiple funerals too for somebody who is a fake actor. All right. MFF's sudden windfall raises questions about how the organization, which is led by a George Soros occultist who is also a convicted drug offender is actually spending its money? Are funds being used to bail out violent Antifa members? Will some of that cash find its way into the coffers of Democrat politicians or special interests? So George Soros is a convicted drug offender, huh? Oh, well. Now we know a little bit about him. What's really going on. Which I had no idea he was like that, but I don't think that's the real truth anyway, because allegedly he killed his family in Hungary. Then of course they booted him out, so he came here, so now he's killing he wants to kill everybody in America because he hates America. So, I mean, seriously, come on. Are funds being used to bail out violent Antifa members? Yes, they are being bailed out by the celebrities of Hollywood. Think about it. The group's aggressive demands to defund the police are also garnering attention. MFF is encouraging donations to reclaim the block, which has called for government divestment from the Minneapolis police. Reclaim is receiving financial support from the squad. Reps Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ariana Presley, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, those people could go have a seat somewhere and shut up. If not, get the hell out of our country, because they're not American as it is. So how about that? All right, the group's aggressive demands to defund the police are also garnering attention as well. So they wanted to take your guns away. Think about the rituals. They want to take your guns away. They don't care. Also, donations to reclaim the block, which has called for government, of course, and everything else. MFF has been suspected of harboring Antifa sympathies through its close collaboration with the National Lawyers Guild, a radical leftist organization that has been called Antifa's unofficial legal arm. President Donald Trump's decision to classify Antifa as a domestic terrorist group could briefing federal scrutiny to how MFF is using its money. So yes, Donald Trump himself, out of his mouth, he classified Antifa as a domestic terror group. That came out of him, not me. It's him that said it. Alright, so he's the one that came up with all this. And of course, the federal scrutiny to how MF is using its money as well. In the days since hashtag Black Lives Matter protests have swept the country, the MFF has become more brazen in its political heroic cleaning, including demands that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz defund the police. It has also attracted support from prominent Democrat politicians, including several Joe Biden staffers. Well, Joe Biden is delusional. He don't even know where he's at half the time. He doesn't know where he's at. And let's see. The hashtag Black Lives Matter protests have swept the country. Yeah, it's swept the country all right, burning everything in sight. And they don't even care. MFS, which didn't respond to a request for comment, is legally restricted from giving money to political campaigns due to its 501 nonprofit status. So that's what they are doing. They are restricted from it. Alright, here's the Minnesota Freedom Fund that's on Twitter. It says here, we're going to need you at Governor Tim Walz to do better than vague promises of change, defund the police and money bail, rebuild our small BIPOC owned businesses. Well, I don't. Now, if you defund the police, what's going to happen? Huh? What do you think is going to happen? All the regular criminals are going to go. What? All the criminals are going to go looting again if you defund the police? Think about it. Rituals. Of course, here's Governor Tim Walz. Former officer Chauvin's actions were horrific. His arrest is a good first step. Toward justice for George Floyd, but it doesn't change the systematic problem and persistent inequities that led to his death, of the pain our communities live with every day. We committed to change. Yeah, okay. Since when do they commit to change? I mean, it's a democratic, it's a deep state. That's what it is. The red states are the deep state states. They don't care. Senate Kamala Harris has encouraged people to donate money to MFF, at least 13. Joe Biden campaign staffers has also given money, which prompted a rebuke from President Trump. Biden has said he doesn't support defunding the police. Well, of course he don't. You think Donald Trump wants anything to do with this? No. He's a patriot. He doesn't have time for all this garbage that these rioters and looters have done. Excuse me, but if you don't like the idea, then get the heck out. Who cares what Biden thinks? So what? Biden has said he doesn't support defunding the police. Well, of course not. He's against it. Duh. Kamala Harris, I don't think she's American. She could leave the country too. Of course, Donald Trump is going to go against defunding the police. He wants the police to stay. Why defund them if all the looters and the rioters are going to go do the same crap all over again after what happened for the last, few weeks? Kamala Harris, here's her Twitter account. Go harass her if you want. If you're able to chip in now to the M Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. Well, not if you got the celebrities helping. You got them. They're bailing out these people. Hello, think about it. Celebrities, they are calling to bail them out. You think they're not going to get into it? Of course they're going to get into it. Now here's Donald Trump's tweet on Twitter. Now, Sleepy Joe Biden's people are so radical left that they are working to get the anarchist out of jail, and probably more. Joe doesn't know anything about it. He is clueless, but they will be the real power, not Joe. They will be calling the shots. Big tax increases for all plus. Yes, so at least he knows what's going on, Donald Trump. And no, I'm not a Trump supporter either, but I agree with his statement. Sleepy Joe Biden's people are so radical left that they are working to get the anarchists out of jail, and that's what the celebrities are doing. They're getting the anarchists out of jail, because this entire country went into anarchy thanks to these evil people that have done all this. And that's why they have special numbers the celebrities are giving them to call them to bail them out of jail. That's what they do. In his tweet, President Trump implied that MFF is working to get anarchists out of jail and probably more. And yes, that is true. While MFF hasn't publicly supported Antifa, it coordinates its bail work with the National Lawyers Guild, which does support Antifa. Well, another foundation that supports Antifa. And this is why Donald Trump, out of his mouth, not mine, his, that he declared Antifa the national terrorism group. This is his words, not mine. The NLG recently defended the violent far-left group against President Trump's decision to label it as a domestic terrorist. And yes, that's what he did. He decision to label it as a domestic terrorist. This is what he was saying. Trump's declaration that Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization has no bias in fact or law and is merely an attempt to criminalize ordinary people who are exercising their right to protest, NLG said in a statement. Yes, so all the innocent people, those are the peaceful protesters. They don't go around causing chaos, burning places, breaking glass, or anything like that. They're not the ones doing it. It's the anarchies that are doing it, the agitators that are doing it, burning down businesses, and everything else. MFF partners with the NLG to set bail for suspected criminals. People who have been arrested and jailed during recent #Black Lives Matter protests are being told to call the NLG, which will then contact the MFF to provide bail money. Yes, so they want to Alright, so yeah, the MFF partners with the NLG to set bail for suspected criminals. Yeah, which are the Antifa criminals, the anarchies. Those are the ones that are doing all the chaos in this world and everything. Greg Lewin, board president of MFF, recently sent out a notice saying that the NLG knows to contact the MFF regarding bail. So Greg Lewin is a board president of Minnesota Freedom Fund. And so this is why the Minnesota Freedom Fund is another problem too, because if these foundations, these freedom funds, they're all frauds. This is why they're bailing out these anarchies out of jail, because they call certain celebrities. Alright, who's this? Asma Niz, I don't know that name. Folks, people here have been arrested, so let's please continue donating to the Freedom Fund thing. Greg Lewin from Minnesota Freedom Fund. If you need jail support, bails paid, legal, here's all this you need to know about. They know to contact to the Freedom Fund. So here's the phone number and all that crap that these celebrities are doing to help them out. New York City Antifa has also advised its members to familiarize yourself with the numbers for the National Lawyers Guild. Yeah, sure. That's why you got celebrities all over the place bailing out these anarchies. That's what I thought. This is what they do. If anything, you should lock them up too for being accessory to it. Alright, here's the New York City thing. Replying to New York City Antifa. What gets people through periods of interest representation, and it is coming for everyone who is on the streets in solidarity. We are here for each other. We are here to build a better world together. We don't leave anyone behind to fend for themselves. Well, geez, the last time I checked, the peaceful protesters weren't doing anything bad. So that's why when these anarchies cause all the chaos in that, the innocent people get blamed for it. Excuse me, How does that ever happen with these people that are blaming the innocent people that did nothing wrong? The peaceful protesters? And of course, here's New York City Antifa, of course. Stay smart, stay solid, never talk to a cop or a fed. Nothing you say will help you, and it can only harm others. Familiarize yourself with the numbers for the National Lawyers Guild. If there isn't one near you, reach out and ask. We keep us safe. Yeah, you keep it safe, all right. Stay smart, stay solid, never talk to a cop or a federal. Oh, I'll bet you when the Antifa gets arrested, then somebody comes and bails them out before they're even charged. How does that ever work? Why would you bail them out before pressing charges? Oh, because they're the Hollywood stars. Elites are involved with it. That's why. Both organizations have strong ties to anti-Trump billionaire George Soros, and we know George Soros is right behind all of this mess. And it's a sad shame George Soros is the one that's causing all the anarchy and everything else. MFF exclusive director Tanya Hannessy was named a Soros Justice Fellow by the Open Society Foundation in 2019. Hannessy is a convicted drug offender who was arrested during a meth lab bust in 2002. She has also served time for theft and check forgery. Since being freed, she has worked as a criminal justice reformer and has served on Minnesota's Sentencing Guidelines Commission. So this woman is working on a Minnesota Sentencing Guidelines Commission after she's been served time for a meth lab that she was busted in and check forgery. Why give her a job like, oh, because George Soros, that's why, because he kind of figured, well, if you're going to do this crime for me, this and that. So this is why everything ties to George Soros. The radical NLG has received funding from Soros Open Society and has partnered with Soros-backed organizations. The NLG has a history of honest hostility toward journalists looking into its ties to Antifa. Last week, its Portland, Oregon chapter told investigative reporter Indy NGO to you-know-what when he said that the NLG operates as Antifa's legal arm. Well, yes, they are the deep state's foot soldiers. Hello? They are the shadow government's foot soldiers that do all the dirty work for them. Think about it. And of course, George Soros is right behind all of this. Here is the NLG Portland, and it says, you know what, Andy? I can't even say that word, but you know what I mean. How are Antifa able to pay bail immediately, get pro bono legal rep, and escape justice? National Lawyers Guild. The org operates as a legal arm of Antifa and is historically close to American communists. NLG advocate for militant, confidential, direct action. Well, that's because the Hollywood stars are involved. That's why. And they're the ones that are taking care of everybody because they're millionaires too. And they're also getting involved with all of this. So anywhere there's things going on with the Antifa, they're there to bail them out immediately without getting charges pressed against them. The NLG also didn't reply to a request for a comment. Of course not, because they're evil. They're George Soros funding thing. MFF doesn't publicly disclose the names of the people it bails out of jail. The group tweeted that it spends $69,836, freeing 266 individuals from county jail last year. It spends about $5,000 a month for ICE bonds. So yeah, so this is what they do. They don't, of course they're not going to disclose the names of the people it bails out of jail because they're afraid that people are going to recognize the names. Of course, the group tweeted that it spent $69,000. All right, freeing 266 individuals from county jail last year. And now this time it spends about $5,000 a month for ICE bonds. So they're afraid that if ICE finds out about it, yeah, they're going to get deported to wherever the heck they go. Well, why not deport all these foreigners out of our country? Then you'll be a happier place then. Here's the Minnesota Freedom Fund on Twitter. Hey y'all, the number being thrown around is our money spent on bail in 2019 and is on the money of bail we couldn't get back from the courts. We kept our books that way. Last year we spent $69,833 freeing 266 folks from county and about another $5,000 a month for ICE bonds. Hopes this helps. Well, yeah, it helped all right. You're freeing all these people, and of course the court is not going to give you your money back. Hello, because they have not been charged. Those figures are expected to grow exponentially now that the fund is rolling in money. Hollywood celebrities have turned the group into a Twitter cause, celebrity as stars including Janelle Monáe, Patton Oswalt, and Don Cheadle have all pledged to chip in. So you know the Hollywood celebrities who are the elites. Yes, they are the elites because they live in California. That's a liberal or a deep state, but it's also a shadow government state as well. And of course, they're all going to chip in to help with this. Chrissy Teigen and her husband, the pop star John Legend, promised to donate $100,000 to various bail funds and then doubled their donation to $200,000. Whoa, that's a lot of money. All right, so you got Chrissy and her husband, John Legend. They're another Hollywood elite. They're also helping. Bailing out these Antifa people. MFF's bank account is so full that it has temporarily suspended further donations, asking people to donate to other charities, including Reclaim the Block, which supports the defunding of police. Now, you know what's going to happen if you try to defund the police? You're not going to be able to call the police for anything, because if that happens, guess what? It's going to be looting and rioting all over again. And where does that leave the regular criminals, the ones that do regular criminal things? Where's it going to leave them? You can't. And of course, Donald Trump is against defunding the police. He don't want the police to be defunded. Founded in 2016, MFF has operated for most of its existence with a small crew of mostly young activists. Founder Simon Cecil was a student at the University of Minnesota when he received $10,000 in grants from the school to start the bail charity. So you got Simon Cecil, who's the founder of the Minnesota Freedom Fund. All right, so and that came in 2016. Has operated for most of its existence with a small crew, mostly young activists. He was a student at the University of Minnesota when he received $10,000 in grants from the school to start the bail charity. So that's what he did. Bail funds have become a political rallying cry for the left in the short time since George Floyd's death. Act Blue is hosting a fundraiser from the group Progressives Everywhere to assist a group of bail funds, including the Minnesota Freedom Fund. So now bail funds have become a political rallying cry. So they're using it as a political standard. That's what they're doing. That's all they do, is using it for a political standard. This is not about George Floyd at all no more. This is about political standards. Progressives everywhere said donations will be split evenly between 13 bail funds in order to assist low-income people, protesters, and bystanders who have been unfairly arrested and must post high cash bails. Alright, so then now they're saying that 13 bail funds in order to assist low-income people, protesters, and bystanders who have been unfairly arrested. No, they have not been unfairly arrested. They got arrested for a reason, because you did criminal things that you shouldn't have done. And must post high cash bails. So say like if it's $10 million for a bail, you only pay 1/10 of that, $1 million. That's all. You don't go no further than that. So progressives everywhere said donations will be split evenly between 13 bail funds in order to assist. So this is why these Hollywood stars are not who are also helping with the Minnesota Freedom Fund. They are using this as a political. That's why this is not about George Floyd anymore. This is about anarchy now, because it has way too much to do with anything with George Floyd. And of course you got the Hollywood celebrities who are the elites. They out here bailing people out before they're even charged. That's why when the Antifa that come from other states and that don't belong in your state and they get arrested, those who are the ones the Hollywood stars bail out real quick before they get charged for anything. Leave your comments below. I am out.